It's Offside with Hawes and McGuire. Hey. Welcome to Offside with Hawes and McGuire. I'm Hawes.
I'm McGuire.
All right, we got some things to talk about
You
today.
opened yours already.
I did. I couldn't wait. It's been a long goddamn day. So there's a couple things we got to talk about. First thing, and I got to get off my chest, and I don't know how Rod Bridnamore did not go ballistic.
On the missed high stick call.
No, it wasn't missed. They saw it. They blew it down. It's like they blew the whistle down.
No, that's not what happened.
Well, he did. He saw me. He had the whistle in his mouth. He went, and it made a sound.
Yes.
A lot of people didn't hear it. They put the goal puck in the net. But then they called it back because they had blown the whistle. That's what it is. He saw the guy go down. He saw fucking everything.
No, we didn't see him go down.
He did. Well, why did he blow the whistle?
He blew it because he thought the player was hurt.
Right.
And that's why he blew it. He blew it. He did not see the stick hit him in the visor. So he blew it because he saw him go down. It was, and...
What did he think happened? He tripped on a goddamn cactus?
We don't know,
Have
Chris.
you noticed I'm saying goddarn?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because here's the thing.
I thought you were saying gall-darn.
Yeah, I know.
That's an old Ottawa Valley one.
Well, what happened was I got a note from a viewer who said, Chris, you dropped like 10 F-bombs.
I know.
In like a few minutes.
I know. Another guy was watching with his son.
Yeah, and then so I said, you know what? So I Liam, you got to actually ante up now. You got to be the one to do some more F-bombs.
I'm not dropping
F-bombs.
I can't. You know what? I've been doing radio and TV for 42 years. I'm so conditioned that even though this couldn't be more...
You're one of them.
I'm one of them. Sort of. Not really, but sort of one of them. I'm not comfortable in any type of on-camera setting. Now, in a private function...
Oh, yeah.
Depending on the crowd...
Yeah.
I have been known...
Yeah.
To drop an F-bomb or two. But in this type of environment, I'm not comfortable doing it.
Yeah, see, I'm not comfortable not doing it. I think it's important.
Well, that's good.
Well, no, but you know what differentiates us, aside from our animal magnetism, supreme hockey knowledge, stuff like that, from all these other guys? Like, what makes me different from Elliot Friedman, aside from the fact that my hair is thinning, his hair's gone.
Maybe pen and paper.
No, but so that's why I sometimes push the envelope. I want to be something that you can't see on CBC.
Well, listen, we want the show to be that,
right?
And I do too. But I think we're accomplishing that first and foremost by starting with a pint.
Well, true. But why can't they drink on CBC? Is what I want to know.
Well, CRTC rulings. You can't.
And you know what else I want to know?
Canadian,
is why
Ontario rulings, most backward province or state in North America.
It is.
Obviously.
Well, you know what? I have a question for you. Hockey Night in Canada was always sponsored by...
Well, Molson's for years.
Canada's name and beer.
Labatt's for years.
Since 1786.
Molson.
Yeah, Molson. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And now you don't see any talk. It's all the gambling. It's all the gambling. Anyways, let's move on. Rod Bridnamore pissed off. I can't believe it. How do you not see it? First of all, you're standing right there. You got one job. As the referee. It's player safety.
The other ref, Kelly Sutherland. Yeah.
He saw it.
Well, I don't know. He didn't. They're not allowed to speak publicly, but either way, it's what they didn't see what was an obvious stick to the visor.
Yeah.
And they didn't make the call. So,
but they did make the call on the wimpy little friggin' slash on the
I know,
stick.
a brutal call.
And here's the thing. And that's what led to that power slashing.
NHL officiating
led to the Florida Panthers goal because it was a power play off a lame slashing call. Okay, It was one of these reaching slashes. Wasn't listen, I get it. If you do a what's his face?
Well, they didn't score on the penalty that became the 5-on-3.
No. But
it was a power play goal. Reinhardt from Tkachuk was a great play, great shot,
slash.
Great goal. Look, it's 1-0. Carolina, the second highest scoring team in the NHL, got to find a way to score a goal. But Bobrovsky's playing lights out.
Oh,
but look, Chris, officiating. It's brutal. I tell my son all the time, Rory and I text back and forth, 80% of all calls are chintzy to begin with.
Yeah.
The other 20 are probably called an error. I mean, I never recall a year like it. I feel bad for the officials because they can't seem to get it right. And I think it started with the 2-referee system, and it's been compounded by the fact that I think if they feel they missed anything egregious, it's going to get picked up on the review
but
anyway.
They don't go to review for. They should have gone.
Not for that. But I mean, it was a slash that hurt somebody or broke a bone or something. You know, it can be reviewed. A player can be suspended later. Is what I mean.
Oh, I get that.
Player, you know, that sort of thing.
But you know what? They'll go upstairs.
They blew the call. They blew the non-call.
They'll go upstairs on an offside, but a guy gets a stick in the face, and that would have made it a 6-on-4.
I know.
Okay, and that really tips the scales, right? Now, I'm not saying they would have scored.
No,
but it would have given them
a better chance
to do that. No question. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I think the referees, if they can't get their shit together, get one of them off the ice.
All right. Well, let's talk about what's really possible to happen, because that's not one of them.
All right. Okay.
That's. I mean, I get your vim and your vigor and your anger here.
No, I needed another V word.
Okay,
with that one. Vigor.
I got a few.
Okay.
Your
virtue.
Yes.
My virtue signaling.
Yes. Look, I get it all, man. Like I'm right there with you. Anybody, and I don't have a dog in the race right near to you. Your Bruins are out. My Habs didn't make the playoffs. Like, you know, I get it, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating for all of us to watch. The games are so good. And not saying they're being decided by these plays, but they're being somewhat, you know, augmented by by the calls or non-calls.
Subtle manipulation.
Subtle manipulation is a good expression. That's a good term. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And it is what it is. It was a blown non-call, like you say, would have given Carolina a 6-on-4. And who knows? I mean, you know, you're down 3 now. You got 4 teams since 1939 have come back. I mean, the odds are heavily stacked against them. But, you know, who knows?
Well, speaking of coming back after being down 3, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's talk about, and I do want to go back to the Panthers series.
They won Game 4.
But they did. But the Leafs and Kyle Dubas and his most recent non-statement.
The cartoon show continues.
Isn't it? It's crazy.
Oh, I tell you, it's just fantastic theater, though. I mean, it's just awesome. If you can deviate any time at all onto social media during your day, and I think a lot of people and a lot of hockey fans can. It is just unbelievable theater right now. What's going on with Dubas releasing his statement, stating
but the statement was a nothing.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the second last sentence was very veiled reference to Shanahan's absolutely throwing everything out there, and then his last sentence basically saying this conversation. You know, or maybe his last sentence. Well, one of his last sentences saying, "Oh, you know, this matter that was discussed is, you know, private and this and that," and I was so honored. He said, you know, in the context of it, he said all the right things, but at the end of the day, the drama.
Oh well, and
it's awesome.
So here's what I don't understand.
I love it.
We talked about why Shanahan wasn't at that press conference on Monday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why wasn't he there?
It adds more fuel.
And now Shanahan is alluding to the fact that Dubas had this press conference without him, and he didn't invite him to the press conference, and that's when Shanahan came back with his next one, and then spilled all the beans about, you know, the contract negotiations, blah 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 blah. Who knows? I honestly think what happened, and I'm only speculating, and this is what I'm led to believe by Shanahan, is that he was hurt and insulted by Dubas, and I think he wanted Dubas back. I think that they really genuinely wanted him back, but you know the way agents are. Agents will push and push and push and try to get, you know, and push it to the end, and maybe that's what it is. But new twist to it, Spencer resigns today.
Yeah,
yesterday,
you hear that? I think. Oh yeah. I think it was yesterday he resigned. So, interesting. Just more fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
I do not think Dubas went ahead and had a press conference that Shanahan had zero knowledge about. I think that would be virtually impossible to have accomplished, especially if at that time, if we're to take him at his word, that he still had aspirations in any way, shape, or form of remaining as general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I don't think that was the case.
Right.
I think Shanahan watched it like we all did.
Right.
And then he said, "What the F?"
Yeah. Well,
I think that's what. And I think when he drove home that night, which is basically what he said in his 12-minute soliloquy, as we said the other night, diatribe, whatever have you. And I think he made up his decision at that time. Boy, this guy is out of it. He is not committed. He doesn't have a contract. He isn't coming to me, rolling up the sleeves saying, I can't wait to get back next year. Let's move Matthews before his new move kicks in. Let's do this. Let's do that. Or move somebody.
Yeah, but now, I have a question about the no move for Matthews. Do they not have to have a qualifying offer to him before they make a trade offer?
Well, he's got a year to go on his contract.
Right, but do they not have to make
I'm not sure what the exact wording of the contract would state, other than, to me, this is a PK Subban situation.
Right.
With the Montreal Canadiens. He had 48 hours or less to go until his no move kicked in before Marc Bergevin, who, by the way, is one of the guys rumored to possibly be replacing Dubas. Can you imagine? I mean, Tree Living seems to be the guy with the inside track. Doug Armstrong's being mentioned as well. But I think, Chris, you're eligible to give Austin an extension on July 1st because he has a year to go on his deal.
Right.
I think you can offer an extension at that time. Him and Marner have no moves that kick in on July 1st. Not sure about the status of Nylander and Tavares, but those are the two that really are the straws that stir the drink. I think for most Leaf fans would agree. Some say whatever. So I think the thing is, you got to make the decision, because on July 1st, you're ending up to the Muskoka 5 scenario, which they dealt with 10, 15 years ago when those guys, and Matt Sundin said he'd never play for anybody else, and as soon as he was released, he went to Vancouver, and it was just such a bogus thing that actually hurt the Leafs and started them down that path.
Right.
But, if you don't give no moves and no trades today, allegedly, seemingly, these guys don't sign deals. Right. So you can't get deals done with your stars. I don't know. That's just it's cracked into the game the last 25 years.
Well, and I get it. I get you want to stay. You want some security in the city. You've got kids maybe, or you're gonna.
Well, first of all, Austin.
But you're a soldier.
Well, you don't want the guy to go through. Here's the thing. You don't want him to play the year out. So you're going to get him an extension. You're going to get him signed, right?
Right.
But what are they going to ask for? This goes back to one of the first shows we did. What's this, our 7th show? 8th? I don't know.
It's 107.
107. One of the first ones we did where we were speculating. Remember I said, I don't want to mention the guy's name that told me at the high school reunion, the St. Pius class of 78, but his initials are Jack Sousa, and who argued vehemently with me that Austin's going to get between 13 and 14 annually with the Leafs on an extension with term. You gotta be kidding me. Like, how can you give him that right now? To me, if you can't see this, what Florida's doing right now, look, Chris, no President Trophy winner has won the Stanley Cup since 2013. Only 8 have done it overall since 1985.
Right.
You've got Austin Matthews, who has disappeared in the playoffs literally every single year that they've made it. He's an absolute true superstar. He's got more talent in one finger than 3/4 of the league have in their body, except when it comes to playoff time.
So the question is this: is he playing lights out all year long, and doesn't have any more in the tank?
No.
So
I don't think.
Are you saying?
Because look,
are you saying he's weak? Are you saying
that
he's?
Come on, he takes a shot in the head and he smiles, he turns. Even that little scrap with St. Louis, he didn't know what the hell was going on. St. Louis came in there, gave his stick a shot, started giving him a couple shots. He didn't know shit from Shinola. Like he doesn't know which way to turn. I mean, I know guys aren't in scraps like, when we grew up in a different era. I get that. But look at, he's showing even the immense talent that he has.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be that battler, and stick your nose in and do things, then you better damn well at least score.
Yeah.
You better get some points. You better generate some offense. And when your precious core 4, FORE 4, are not able to do anything in the postseason, and look, it's a copycat league, man. Florida's up 3-0, Chris. One more win, they go to the finals. What did they do last year? They won the President's Cup. They got swept first round by Tampa, and they traded 2 key parts of their team.
Yeah, key
parts. Huberdeau and Weegar to get back. Who knew you were going to get that out of Matthew Tkachuk? Everybody knew the guy's talent.
Do you know what?
He said all the right things right away.
No. I listen. Honest to God,
he's been unreal.
But he was in Calgary. He was gritty. He was an antagonizer.
Yeah, he's a Tkachuk. He does all those things.
And so you know what? I have to say that's the trade. That was the best trade in the last 5 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd give it
as far
some
as-
thought, and some others might come to mind. But look, right now it's certainly at the top of the list.
Yeah.
If it's not number one, it's at the top of the list. And so look, I don't know what's going to happen. I just thought the whole thing in Toronto right now it's like OJ and the Bronco, man. I mean, I swear to God, it's
a very slow car chase.
absolutely. You go on Twitter first thing in the morning, and you see what the favorites are. You see Dubas is trending like number 3. Go, oh baby, here we go. What happened overnight? Who did a presser? Who wrote this? Who wrote that? I mean, it's fantastic theater, and yes, having some fun at expense.
I don't know if you
Leaf
saw
fans
his
here,
grandma was on Twitter defending him.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
You making this up?
No,
No?
that's the truth. Yeah.
Okay, well that's awesome if
It's-
that's the
you know
case.
what? You got to
Defend family, it's a good thing. That's never a
Absolutely.
bad thing. I'm first and
Yeah.
foremost going to support anybody who does that. And look,
Well, and it's that whole thing. She's from the Sioux, right? You know what they say, right? If you're from the Sioux, you're either a whore or a hockey player.
Yeah.
And we know that she may not. She may have probably played for a great team up there.
left winger.
That's, you know.
Yeah.
But anyhow, going back to Florida because we were talking about.
Yeah.
And you brought up.
I'm going to tell you where that game changed last night.
Okay, I want to hear it.
I'm going to tell you the exact moment
Okay.
that game changed last night.
Okay.
With 1:26 to go in the second period. Okay?
Okay.
Here's what happened. When I say it, you'll know right away. Okay? First of all, in the first period, you had Chuck and Brent Burns have the little stick issue, right?
Yeah.
And Burns comes in, Chuck's backing up, but he gives him a couple shots, even though he didn't really hit him, but he
Yeah,
waves.
yeah.
Anyway, the intent was there to say, F you, big boy, I'm right here, come do something, which
Yeah.
Burns should have done. Crowd comes in, few shots, nothing. Okay, game goes on with Florida basically just taking names and taking prisoners, which is exactly what I said was going to happen in this series. Because Carolina, just like New Jersey is starting to show, and like Toronto has done for 5 years, you got no balls, man. You got no guts. Like, you're not standing up. You're not backing each other up. So with 1:26 to go last night,
Yeah.
in a scrum in front of the net at the end of the second period, Kokanami, and I'm not picking on him.
He got a
because of the
penalty for
trade.
that though.
He
Didn't he get a penalty for that?
Yeah, he may have got a penalty on the play.
Yeah.
But he took a shot in the head from Tkachuk, okay?
Yeah.
And the scrum ensued, and everybody is just playing whack-a-mole with Carolina Hurricane guys. They're just playing whack-a-mole. That way, you're down 1-0. You're down 2-0 in games. You're losing after almost 40 minutes of game 3. You got nothing going. You can't score. They're pushing you around the ice.
Yeah,
That
you
was the
think
moment.
Someone needs to go.
That moment right there needed to be an internal
Throwdown.
explosion. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, it doesn't have to be. It's not going to be the old days. Those days are gone. I get that. Bench is empty, and we get just fantastic 30 minutes of nonstop fighting. I know we're not going to see that again, unfortunately. But what you can do, at least, is grow a pair and stand up for each other. How many times, how many years does Carolina, who have been, look, they went to the finals in 02, won the cup in 06 with a very veteran team, Waite and Recchi leading the way. These are not men known for dropping the gloves, but they got more guts in their body. You know, Mark Recchi's in the Hall of Fame, wins Stanley Cups with 3 teams. Come on. Why? Because he goes where angels fear to tread. Like, you have to have a pair when you play in the playoffs. This is the 3rd round. You can't be taken constant. You know what it was like?
What?
When your Bruins won the Cup in 2011.
Yeah.
And Brad Marchand
Yeah,
speed bagging the Sedins.
Yeah.
And who's doing anything? It's like Dave Schultz when he fought Dale Rolfe in 1974, Game 7 semifinals. Where was the rest of the Rangers?
Yeah.
Jumping in. And you know what so many of them told me? Liam, we had fought nonstop. Nonstop, we'd fought. We had nothing left. What are you going to go in? Go fight Schultz again? Yeah, that's what you needed to do.
Yeah.
What do you need to do against Brad Marchand in 2011? Guys, you know, guys 5'0". Get after him. So that means Chara and Lucic and all the boys are coming. Well, then, do you want the Stanley Cup or do you not?
Yeah.
And this is what happened
hear
last
ya.
night. With 1:26 to go, I watched that develop in front of the net. That was the turning point for me last night.
Well, you know what? I don't disagree. You know what? I think, in my opinion, I think the turning point was the frustration level Bob Orosky created for them. And now, but here's what I'm going to say. I want
The
to
guy's
bring
a
this
brick
up.
wall.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you know who we're forgetting about? Who has played phenomenal fucking hockey? Is Fred. Down at the other end, Freddie Anderson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And even Ranta Fanta.
Yeah.
Was a bottle of fun.
Yeah.
The game before he had a decent game.
Yeah.
But Anderson had a stellar game as well. He had that one goal on the power play that, you know what, that was launched. You know what I mean? He didn't even get a chance to react.
You talking about the Reinhardt goal?
The Reinhardt
goal.
goal.
No, that was a great play. That was a great play. Yeah.
So, but he stopped everything else.
Yeah.
He is playing what would otherwise be Stanley Cup goaltending.
Look, it's Hasek and Brodeur 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw those battles in the mid to late 90s, and when they were two of the best with Patrick Roy, obviously, who stuck his nose in every now and then just to say, hello, I'm here. 10 straight wins in OT in 93, remember me?
Yeah.
And you know, things of that nature. And we're seeing that with these guys right now. It's just Bobrovsky has gone to a level that's really, I mean, frankly, it's frightening. It really is. He's breaking records every night. This save here, save percentage there, goals against average here, what he's doing.
They calculated, and I don't know, some sort of algorithm did this, that they should have scored 18 goals on him in these playoffs that he saved.
Oh, is this one of the analytic stats? Like
you know, some sort
goals
of
above expected, pints consumed.
Exactly. Now, before we go, I want to bring it back to something that the penalties. I'm going back to the referee thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's driving me nuts because these little stick infractions, and there's a lot of them. I don't know if you noticed. If you take a look at all the penalties that are coming out, there's high sticking.
Yeah.
There's slashing and hooking.
Yeah.
Those are the penalties. That's it.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of tripping. There hasn't been a lot of roughing. There was that, you know, coincidental minor they called in roughing there in the first period.
Yeah.
But generally, they're stick infractions, right?
Yeah.
And most of them are slashing, reaching infractions. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're calling slashings, and frankly, they were more hooks than they were slashes in some of those cases, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But you know what? Why it's happening is because. And I don't know if you've seen this, and this is one of the best parts of this game, this series, is that the stick activity, okay, the active sticks, in this fucking series. Sorry about the language. In this series is amazing. Like if you watch these guys, watch the defense, watch everybody on their defensive play. Those sticks are moving. Those sticks are getting in the way. They're getting at pucks. They're getting at people. Those sticks are active. And I mean, and I'm going to sound like Howie Meeker. But if you're watching at home, active stick is the most important thing you can do as a defender.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You stand there with your stick still, you got to react as opposed to being active. And that's what's happening. These guys are moving, they're doing, and they're, you know, their sticks coming up, or the things are happening. And as a coach, I would say I accept some of those penalties. I don't like them, but you accept some of the. I don't like those little slashing penalties because. Frankly, I think they shouldn't be penalties at all. Like unless
again, the genie's out of the bottle there.
I know, but unless no, they can change it. Unless you break a stick, unless you hit somebody in the physically in the body.
It's never going to change. The consortium of fans through the media and their feelings that has ebbed into the fiber of the game are not going to allow some of what we grew up accepting come back into the game. I don't believe. In regards to the stick fouls, I agree with you. However, also as a minor hockey coach, I tell my kids all the time, get your stick out of their skates. Get your stick out of their skates. How that
and
happens
into the ribs.
Yeah. Stick them in the mind. I don't know how in hell, if any stick at all around the skate, it seems to me 7 or 8 times is going to lead to one of the infractions you're talking about. Get your friggin' stick out of their skates.
Well, I counter
tripping.
that.
Tripping calls.
Stick on puck. Get that stick out and get it to the puck. Stick on puck.
I got no problem with that stick on puck.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Get it out of the skates. Like how many times you see guys they've lost position.
Yeah,
is where it starts. They've lost position. Look, I get it. We've all played. You're exhausted. You got your check is getting away from you.
Yeah.
The old days, you could water ski.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore, right? That's automatic. We know that. So what do? Well, it's a ticky-tack. Some guys are really good at it. You can do a little like this, whatever. Maybe it doesn't get called, little like this. But if your stick is around their skates...
Yeah, they've got the opportunity.
So... Anyway, I hear what you're saying, but I still, and you're right. Look, active sticks and the way players defend today is a lot different. Boxes used to be all static. Now they move. Like teams that have really good penalty kills, if you look at their numbers, watch the video of these guys. It's transition. They're moving. Guys are in and out. They've got seams. They're picking up with the other team. They've done tons of video. They see where they set up. Is it side, left side, right side? Is it quarterback driven from, everything? Then you design your penalty kill scheme around it. But I don't understand for the life of me. A bunch of the calls are chintzy and ticky tack, but they could be avoided. I think in 2023 or 1973 by players who just understood that I'm risking a penalty here. So, but they've lost position on their guy. So they're hustling to get there, and that's what leads to it. So.
All right, and on that note, we're going to get going because there's a game starting very shortly. This has been Offside with Haas and McGuire. I'm Haas.
I'm McGuire.
G'day.
G'day.